Cal travels across the country for the first time this season because they'll be doing that a lot of times this season. Like, just part of being in the ACC now, I guess. But they got to travel to Auburn. And they're 13. Is that 13 and a half point underdogs? Um,
Criminal. Sorry.
well, I guess we'll play it at 13. How about that? We'll drop the point 0.5. Yeah, and I'm with you. Kind of criminal. This Cal football team might be good. Fernando Mendoza is the guy right now. Again, we feel good about Chandler Rogers if he has to come in there. But yeah, and sure, Auburn absolutely beat the pants off of Alabama A&M, but still question marks about Peyton Thorne, right? Still question marks about Peyton Thorne. Did not play well in this game. They snuck out of this one last year. Snuck out of this one by the skin
It,
of their teeth.
it was awful. It was, listen, there was normally I love like smash mouth, low scoring football games, but it wasn't even smash mouth. It was just weird. It was not an, it was an ugly football game, late in the night. Cal should have won that football game. And Sam Jackson, who was playing wide receiver, I think for Auburn now, he was the quarterback for Cal. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, I like Cal in the spot. I'll take him plus 13 and a half. I don't think I can take him to win, though, because you're in Jordan Hare, right? I mean, that in and of itself is a lot of points. I know it's not necessarily it's a 2:30 game, right? It's going to be rowdy. Kids are going to have a lot of rest. They're going to be hitting the tailgates early because it's a 2:30 game. And that stadium is going to be still pretty ballistic, even with an opponent like Cal coming in, maybe not Bama. It's going to be rowdy. Jordan Hare is going to be electric, all right? And I just don't know if Cal has the personnel, the talent, the coaching, the will. I don't know that they're good enough to beat Auburn on the road, but I do think that they keep it within 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm with you here too. And Mendoza didn't look great against UC Davis. Now he did enough for sure. Rogers played a little bit too. Um, but again, Jade Knott, I think, is a difference maker. Now Auburn, obviously, they beat the pants off of Alabama A&M, but it's Alabama A&M, right? That's what you expect. And I was encouraged to see all of their explosive plays. Something I thought that was missing from a year ago, especially through the air with guys like Cam Coleman, with guys like Perry Thompson, guys like Keandre Lambert Smith, all new faces in that wide receiver room for Auburn. But listen, I like California, man. I think it's a good football program. I really do. I'm not gonna say that Auburn's gonna sleepwalk over this game, but listen, Hugh Freeze is he is no stranger to dudding a game here and there, and Auburn fans know that pretty well, don't you? Last time, New Mexico State team from the West Coast came over into Jordan Hare. I don't know, man. I mean, I think Auburn definitely needs to win this football game because they want to win 8 games. I think they want to win 8 games, and their schedule is kind of reasonable as in terms of what it's been for them. Obviously, you got Oklahoma and Georgia and Bama, but I see ULM, I see Kentucky, I see Vanderbilt, all good football teams. Missouri, but Arkansas, those are like winnable games. I think for Auburn on the schedule, they could get it done. But damn, man, California, I just don't think they're gonna blow them out. I really don't. The way they're on the football, I think how much they've improved defensively, and obviously you trust Justin Wilcox on that side of the football and running that 2-4-5 that they like to do. Um, it should be interesting. It should be interesting. A very very good tough test for them. You can kind of work out the kinks of traveling, across a couple time zones and figure that out. Obviously, their schedule is much more front loaded than I think Auburn's is. You've got Florida State coming to town a couple weeks from now. Miami is early in the season. NC State's middle of the season, and then you've got games at the end. They're super winnable. Stealing a game here would be massive, massive for building momentum for Wilcox in this season here. What is it? Year 7 now, year 6. They're in Cal, but I don't know. I think Auburn will win, but I do think it'll be close. I'll take California to cover.
I do think getting Isaiah Rakes. Now I don't know for certain that he'll be back. I know that when Hugh Freeze was explaining it, it sounded like they just held him out of the game just so that he could get more rest. I know it's an ankle injury. Isaiah Rakes could be a really decent one tech, especially if you're trying to stop the run. I think Isaiah Rakes is such a massive body to get back there in that one tech to be in that rotation. So I do think that's a good thing for Auburn. If you want to look at ways that they can find a way to win and cover this game, it's got to be stopping Jaden Ott, right? Hopefully Isaiah Ray can be a part of that if you're an Auburn fan. And then yeah, continuing to be explosive with the football. I'm not sure if they're going to be explosive in the same way that they were against Alabama A&M. And look, it's still a lot of young guys in that wide receiver room. I mean, really, you look at Robert Lewis and Lambert Smith as guys that are, the quote unquote veterans, and I guess Sam Jackson got a touchdown, ironically, last week. But yeah, because other than that, it's really freshmen, right? So are you going to see some of those mistakes that you sometimes see from true freshmen, mistimed routes, running the wrong routes? Are those going to lead to turnovers? I don't know. Maybe that's a stretch, but it's definitely something to monitor because if those freshmen look good, they're on time, they're dialed. I mean, looking down the stretch, this Auburn offense could be the vastly improved offense that we maybe expected. So I'm
Yeah, in terms of keys to the game, real quick, California has to stop the run, I think. I mean, that front seven, you got guys like Carlton, Ulave, Buchanan, who looked good last week. You have to be able to stop the run. This is an Auburn offensive line that struggled last year, and obviously they looked good last week. But again, a couple new faces, still adjusting. If you want to be able to go on the road and get an upset here, you have to stop the run. If Hugh Freeze and Auburn can run the football, I do think Peyton Thorne will have chances to make deep shots, to let those talented receivers, get open down the football field. But also kind of like the matchup for Cal. That secondary for Cal is pretty darn good. Noel Williams, Craig Woodson, Matthew Littlejohn played well last week. Like, you've got some guys in that room that I think can match up for you. It'll be interesting. Definitely another game, just a sneaky Power 5 matchup game that's going to be really interesting. You're talking about two teams, quote unquote, in the middle of the pack of their conferences. And I think it's a lot. I think the ACC wants this bad after, being embarrassed by Florida State a couple times now. Clemson, kind of got taken it too by Georgia. I think they want this one bad.